Because I thought I was going crazy, but my therapist was like, no, you're not.
So what mine, so I really haven't had a traumatic experience, not that I can think of right now. And I like that we're having this because like it's kind of two different perspectives in a way, because it's like you guys that were born in Africa and I was born here. So it's like kind of two different perspectives, kind of in a way, but not really. So like I really can't think of a traumatic experience that I've had right now. But I do know that like when it comes to my parents, like my mom is more of the like prayer warrior, intercessory prayer, like God is gonna make a way, all that type of stuff, and like she keeps me going and stuff like that. But when it comes to my dad is like a hardcore like no, like school, this, that, like he really doesn't want to hear anything. And it's just like, yeah, it's just, yeah, like I feel like sometimes it's like he's just cold. And it's like, dang, like I want to come to you and tell you stuff, but I feel like I can't because you're just so quick to shut me down.
Yeah.
So like with that, so like basically when I was younger, I was like I was the rebel child. So basically I was like, you know, always the one, because I asked my parents, can I go to this place? They're like, no. So I'm like, okay, bet. Y'all told me no. I'm still gonna go. So like I'm always sneaking out. I'm always like being the class clown and getting in school suspension, detention, all that other stuff, right? And so basically I would always get in trouble. And I'm just like, okay, at the end of the day, like, I don't know why I'm acting out, but obviously I'm acting out some type of way and I just don't know why. And I didn't put two and two together, like, okay, like, oh, this is why I might be acting out, because I'm basically seeking attention. Like when I was younger, oh, I'm seeking attention because obviously I'm not getting attention there. But as I was getting older, I'm like, okay, and now I can actually sit there at like my age now, I'm 26, I can actually sit back and be like, okay, well, some of the things that my parents were saying were right. And some of the things that, you know, like I was doing was just like really wrong. But I had to have a conversation with my parents. Like we had a big falling out one time with my parents, and I literally just broke down and I had to tell them like, yo, like the way y'all are treating me, and I understand I've had my faults in it, because I feel like that's one thing that everybody has to take. You have to take accountability.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing something, like you have to take accountability of the faults that you may have in it, and also people have to take their accountability in it too. So I basically just told them, like, I remember I had a conversation and like I wasn't doing good in school, and my dad was like, oh, I'm gonna pull my hand from your school fees and I'm not gonna do anything and stuff like that. I'm just talking to him like, bro, like this is why I don't talk to you, because you're literally popping off at me and you're like not even understanding why I may be acting like this. And then like when I try to have a conversation with you, you're just so cold and stuff like that. So I just had to tell my parents like, bro, like at the end of the day, I understand. I'm underneath your roof. Yes, I understand. But it's just like, dang, hear me out. Because just like you guys want respect, I also want respect too. Yes, you are my parents. But at the end of the day, I'm your child. Like, I have feelings too. So I feel like as if like you guys need to also think about like what you guys, like your behavior is like the effect that it has on me. Because I feel like my dad is still so into that African man mentality that he had when he was in Africa. So it's feel like he's bringing it from Salone and he's bringing it to here. So I'm just like, you don't have to be like that. Yes, you can discipline your children. Yes, you can have that structure and stuff like that. But it's just like there's kind of a limit and boundary to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's I really haven't had a traumatic, but I feel like my relationship with my parents now, when I went to school in North Carolina, in 2016, like it got so much better. Like I can talk to my parents now. Like
distance, girl.
The distance is
distance in your parents.
Your parents don't have that hold on you. You know, they don't have that hold on you. Like simple things like, oh, you can't go out or you can't do this. Like, come on, homie. Yeah. I'm this age and you're telling me that I can't do this. So I just feel like but now, like, that's what I said. I really haven't had a traumatic, but that's how I basically felt. But everything's good now. So we just thank the Lord that, you know.
I got a question. Like, I think through this, I think what I've learned is that, like, from the conversation I'm listening to, like, I've heard that, like, there's certain stigmas that African women, that are allocated to African women, or certain burdens that African women hold? Like what, like maybe like an example, like each of you, like what is one stigma or burden y'all understand African women to have, and how do you think we can combat that, or how do you think we are actively combating that?
Strong women, we can take anything,
Strong.
blah, blah, blah,
Strength.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yes, we're strong, but I'm not going to take the whole world upon me.
Yeah.
As much as I'm supposed to be somebody else's comfort,
Mm.
I need a comfort. Like, I need to somebody and unload too.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is, because I think I saw this like growing up with like either like family friends or close family, is that getting married just because you had a child with this person, because you got pregnant. But I think our generation is actually changing that, you know? And also the other thing I saw was just, you got married and then your spouse is consistently like cheating on you, stepping out on you consistently. But then you're told, no, it's okay. Just stay there. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. Just be strong. You can get through this, have children, you know, just things like that. But our generation is saying, no, ma'am, we're not going to stand that. And it's one of the things, like, I think we were never taught that we need to set standards. If we don't set standards, the man is going to set standards for the marriage or the relationship. So I think those two things I'm seeing, like our generation is really working on combating that and not just settling.
I think we haven't been taught there's two types of strength, right? Strength is leaving. Strength is like telling, like, you know, knowing your limits. I can't do this. Like, I think African women are constantly taught one type of strength, right? But we have to be taught
endurance.
The other.
Take the shit kind of strength.
Right.
Yeah. I think for me, it's a friend of mine, we were having this discussion, and she basically wrapped it up in basically, she said, I'm not first lady material, I am president material. And for me, as an African woman, I feel like that is like apropos. Like, I'm not just a complimentary. I'm not just this person that's like always gonna compliment you as the first lady, as the person off to the side, as the lady, that the strong woman behind you. I am, in fact, that leadership material in of myself. And you too, we have an equal standing in this relationship where you at times will be complimenting me from the side, and I at times will be complimenting you. I'm not just ingrained or entrenched in this role that I like, I'm the first lady, like he's the president. I am the president and you're the first man, and we get to share. So when she said it, I was like, shout out to Miriam if she ever watched it. When she said it, I was like, yes, like I am a president material. I'm not perpetually a first lady, whereas I'm only shaking hands and you only are checking opinions based on like what's your favorite color. Like I have opinions. I have fully developed opinions and plans when it comes to leadership, and I shouldn't be stuck in this role of constantly complimenting the man when I myself can run things. And I feel like that's something that we're constantly being taught, and like, you know, when you try to divulge, like, you know, go away from those roles, it then starts to be like a problem. Like, no, sis, like you raised me to be a strong African woman, right? This strong African woman wants to be the head of state somewhere else. The husband, the man, can compliment. You know, that's how I see that.
And it tends to put us in this box, and this box is like, which way you go, you always hit a corner.
Yeah. Those glass ceilings that they make for women.
I think the other thing too is like, I'm so sick and tired of hearing like women being taught how to be a good wife. How about you take the good husbands?
Husbands, thank you.
Listen.
Thank you. Blessings follow you.
Listen.
Because every time we keep telling the woman that, and then the guys be like, yeah, I want a queen. But no, you're like janitor material. Why are you looking for a queen? Like, you need to up yourself and be a king so you can be worthy of it. We need to change those like educational systems and those, you know, like meetings and blah, blah, blah. Teach the man to be worthy of a woman. Not all the time teaching a woman, then telling me that I need to be strong. I'm strong enough to leave and like mind my peace of mind.
You can't be talking about you want a queen, but you give me peasant vibes.
Period.
You're not gonna do that. No, at all. No, I totally agree with that. do you guys feel like it's hard for us African women to express ourselves?
So I was actually
in terms of what?
sorry.
In terms of like seeking help, like it's hard for that. Do you feel even talking to anybody, do you feel like it's hard? Or do you feel like we need to have that, like you said, like Seth said, like we have to have that strong mentality of being a woman? Oh, we're gonna hold everything down and whatnot. What do you guys feel?
Okay, so I didn't answer the last question, but I was going to talk about that. Like, I think it's important for like African women to know that it's okay to be passionate about something and it's okay to voice that out, right? Regardless of what anybody else thinks. Because I've realized, like, in the situation that I'm in, that if you don't speak out, no one will speak out for you. Your perspective won't be heard. Whatever you're passionate about won't be heard. And then I think there's this notion that there's a diplomatic or there's a certain way you're supposed to voice your opinion or what you think. And I think that is a problem. Yes, we know there's some people that are really, really aggressive, right? But then then there's also this thing of where when I speak, now I have to speak a certain way. You take reality from people. And so that's what I think is also problematic, because even just society in general, you have to come across a certain way. And that kind of stifles you. Yeah, it stifles you. Exactly. Stifles you as a person, which I personally don't think. And sometimes, like, my mom would also tell me stuff like, be ladylike. You can't do that. You can't do it. And I'm like, leave me now. Like, let me be bush if I want to be bush. It's okay. You know, it's fine. And I think it also comes to that thing where when you're raising your kids, you raise them to really accept who they are. And to understand that even though you're different, you're still loved. Because I don't think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of, you go to school, English, this and that. No, there's a lot more beyond that.
Yeah, definitely.
Another question. Do you guys feel like affection plays a huge part as into why women are not able to express themselves? Do you feel like as if, oh, I never got that hug, or I never got that kiss, you know, from like your parents or anything like that? Like, you know, just feeling like, even like come sit on my lap and talk to me or something, or come, you know, just something like, do you feel like affection plays a part?
For me, I think it does, because I am a person who, I think my love language is words of affirmation. And our parents tend to tell us like, I love you. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, even like when I started saying it, because I actually initiated it so that I'm like creating a safe space for you to say it, so it doesn't seem like you're creating an awkwardness. So like I would talk to my mom, and sometimes my mom would like, love you, mom. And then before it was like, thank you. And then like over time, you know, it came to I love you too. And I was like, accomplished.
Don't worry, check.
Yes. Even when I talk to my siblings too, like we make a point of saying that, like, I love you, because I feel like words mean a lot and they carry weight. So it maybe I could not be a huggy person, but I feel like those words to me at least matter.
I think I agree with sis, because whatever affection or emotion that I did not get from my parents or I wasn't taught, and I begin to learn them, I try to give them back to the people around me and to the people who I love. So my love language is words of affirmation too. So I would say, I love you, I'm thinking about you, I'm always like, yeah, go do that. Like, I'm always very motivative towards people who I love and encouraging. And I feel like that's something that growing up, like, I didn't get that much. So I think I'm kind of, since I didn't get it, I'm going to give it to others. And then I think that's built my character as a person a lot.
I have like a question / answer to this. Like, I think affection is personalized to you. Like you guys, if you guys have answered the question, you guys have all answered based on your love language.
Yeah.
And so I think personality and the way you receive and give things plays a large part into whether or not like you do something. Because like if you're giving somebody words of affirmation and they just don't care about words of affirmation, then they might be feeling like they're missing something because you're not communicating to them in a language that they understand, if that makes any sense. And so like, you know, even if you like, because like my dad, like we're daddy's girl, but my dad and I have very different opinions on something. My dad, we were giving our dad kisses. Like my brother's 5, I still kiss him, and my mom's trying to like make me stop doing that. It's like there are ways that you can give something to somebody, but if that's not their language or ways of communicating, they're not necessarily receiving that in a wholehearted way. So I think it's more so about identifying what somebody prefers or what somebody is receptive to, and then making an effort to like communicate and meet that person at literally at the point of their need. It like, you know, the way they're going to be receiving that. So like for me personally, like it's quality time. Like I want to know that I have your full attention for a specific amount of time. If you give me that, for me, my day's done. Don't touch me. Don't look at me. It's like, nah. But I mean, like, you know, I'm very particular about who touches me. But if you do carve out your time, you know, spend time with me, like make me feel like you're listening to me, my opinions are being heard, like I'm being acknowledged, that goes a long way for me personally. So I think it's based on your language and the way you receive and give things, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, I think as far as affection, and we see this in African households, and especially if you date African men, you will notice that some of them, because their dad or it could be even their mom didn't say like "I love you," they don't know how to express feelings or to like the woman that they're dating, so they will always be stuck right there, from moving to the next step. But I think for me personally, it's more like my mom was a single mom before she married my stepdad, and my mom was like very, very lovey, and like would tell me I love you from like even when I was like little. So when like she married my stepdad, it was hard for me to say I love you, even though he was giving me so much love that I was like, it freaked me out for a little bit because I grew up without a dad for like a long time. So I was like, okay, what is going on here? You know? So I think even as I was growing up, it didn't take me until like I was actually full, like in my 20s, to realize, oh, I wasn't able to even, there was a point I was not able to say I love you back to him because I realized I have like abandonment issues from, I feel like, oh, he could leave at any time, you know, so I'm not going to say I love you or anything like that. So for me, expressing myself was harder even in like relationships until like I realized that. And so, but now I'm able to like express myself. But I think it's what we see in childhood, because during childhood, we don't know what like the 5 love languages and what we want, really. It's what we see. And if we see our parents like either loving each other or if they're giving that to us, that's what we either give back to like people like we're with later on, like even once we get into like relationships, our first relationships down the line.
I want to give African parents some credit because, like, you know, you see the funny videos around. So people like, you know, Americans saying I love you, you know, Black people saying I love you. They're like, come on, your mom saying I love you. He's like, come, let me add some rice to you're playing, you know what I mean? So like, I'm trying to like, let's give some credit too, because like, you know, like they're different, they're different. Like what I mean by like the language, there are different ways that people, you know, like manifest their love. So somebody like, like rice, like, you know, sometimes our parents made an event of it. Like, you know, when our parents are happy when they're doing certain things, like, oh, mom is cooking, oh, she's cooking a specific dish, you know, daddy is dressed up a specific way, or maybe he's singing a specific song. And so that's what I mean, like those cues, like, you know, based on the way people like to manifest their love. Right. So like, you know, I think it's very important for some people, like, you have to say that, it has to be received, but like, I think also like the way people in general are able to manifest their love, I think, you know, all the credit to them for that.
I think that's true. Yeah, I think we know, like, African parents generally, you know, at one point, like, you know, when you grow up, you think, oh, it's just my household. You really look up with your friends are like, oh, you too? Pick up with the other friends from another country, like, oh, it's African parents. They're all the same.
Yeah.
Everybody got the same. So once you go over to somebody's house, it's like, dang, my mom act the same way. That's exactly. Who's in these comments? Ooh, y'all, they trying to shake the table, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody said, what do you guys think about the saying behind? Oh, is it behind or being every great man?
It's behind every great man.
Okay. First of all,
learn how to spell.
Ooh.
Yes. Learn how to spell. Don't try to throw shade. You can't spell right.
You want to throw shade? We gonna throw shade.
All right, because you're trying to throw shade, and I'm about to throw the whole table. So, this point, why does a great woman have to be behind a man?
Right.
Behind me.
Why can't I be beside you?
Why can't we be right next
or
to you?
even in front sometimes.
Why can't we be right by each other? Why can't it be like this? Why does it have to be like this? I don't understand.
But I think it's that notion that like the man, and even in like African houses, like it's the man that represents the family unit. Like it's the man that's the head of the house. It's the man that speaks for the whole house. And I think that is the thing, because it's like the man is he's like the head of state, the president, the speaker, everything. He is the representative of the family. Because like another thing too is like your kids, your wife take the last name. That's another conversation for another day. But like, and he is that whole, and he represents that whole entity. So it's like, people will be like, oh wow, this man, like, he's such a great man. Like, what could it be? And then it'd be like, it's the wife that is in the back and the kids that are supporting him to be this great man. And I think that's the sort of the concept. I mean, and I would say specifically in African households, because that's the thing, like the man is the head of the household. He's the speaker, he's a representative. So everybody else is doing everything in their power to make sure that he looks good, to help him represent the family in a way. But at the end of the day, he is the final say, like, you know what I mean? So.
Even in like introducing, sometimes, like, I don't know if you've ever seen this, like if they go somewhere and they introduce their wife, they don't, some people, I know in like in Kenyan like community, they're like, oh, this is mama so and so this is, like, let's say for example, like they have a son that's named Brian. Oh, this is Mama Brian.
They do the same thing, Cameroon.
It's like
wife.
Like I was an individual before I gave birth.
Right.
No, but like, why is that you're represent, like, also like giving more power to you giving birth to a male child as to a female? Because like you're being represented by the male child. So it's like, this is the mother of Toby. This is like, in different languages too, like in Yoruba culture, like they have like Iya. I think Iya is like mother or something. Like this is like Toby's mother. This is so and so, like this is the man's mother. Like, and even like in our culture too, like let me throw the whole table. I know I'm gonna get roasted, but this whole concept of chop chair, girl, I am the oldest, and I have an almost 17-year age gap with my only brother in the family. It was just me and my sister. Like, we're daddy's girl through and through, but we weren't inheriting until my brother showed up, and then now he is the saving grace. This man that like is gonna get my dad's legacy. And I think I'm really close to my dad. Like, if anything, if I was a man, it would have been me. Just saying. But like, that whole thing that like, it wasn't until this man showed up that like the legacy was intact. Like, before anything else, like the women, like, the women child, and I don't think my dad personally believes this, but like, we as women, like my sister and I, we didn't really play a significant role to him because we were women. And it wasn't until this man or this boy came along that like, oh, now we have somebody that's gonna save our legacy. We have somebody that's gonna carry our legacy. We have somebody that's literally gonna inherit my dad's position.
I feel like that was so different from me growing up. I think it was so confusing being like in the community, because I feel like with my family, my grandparents were not like enough to do that because they had more girls than boys. And it's like the girls are the ones who had their shit handled, So like the older sibling she's the one who's actually married to the Zambian man, and she lives in Zambia. Like she grew up and she took care of the family and she found a job. Like she defied all these odds that women were not necessarily doing at the time, and her siblings who were female kind of followed in the same path. And kind of like the men kind of just like sloughed behind. So for like my grandparents, they didn't really have that luxury. And I think also like the defiance of societal like views, my aunts defied that way before. Yeah. So for example, like my older auntie, the one who got married to the Zambian, no one was marrying, first of all, a man from a different tribe, mark you, but she decided to marry a man from a different country. I think she said, and my grandfather said, until they were tired, because then the siblings who followed, like one of the aunties who I'm really close with, she was married to a white man. Like, what is my grandmother gonna do at this point? So I think for my mom, she was among like the last siblings. So for her, she had already seen like that dynamic, and I never really got pressured into all this like male, female kind of, roles. But I feel like just growing up and being around other people, that's when that came about. And then like dating a man from like a different country, and that's how it's every role is delineated like that. And I'm like, wait, what is this? This is so backward. Like, this is not how I grew up. This is not what I know. This is not familiar to me. So yeah, that was kind of weird, but
yeah.
So quick question, last question, and then I have like a scenario for you guys.
Okay.
We're about to wrap it up. So do the trauma that like we all our experiences that we already shared, do you feel like as if you're gonna take, how am I trying to word this? Because the trauma that we've already been through, and when you have kids, do you feel like that trauma is going to affect your parenting skills? Now listen, because I see heads are shaking and they're saying no. But in reality, it might, some of the mentality that we grew up with our parents treating us that way, we might take it towards our kids. So what do you feel like as if
that's that transgenerational trauma type stuff, that like trauma that's transcending generations to generations? I mean, like, I'm gonna let y'all, but like, I think what you were trying to say was like, are we gonna let trauma follow through generations? It's like generational trauma. So
I think
sorry,
go ahead. No, you have not spoken. Go ahead, girl.
No, I was gonna say, I think for me, I am trying to be really aware of what my trauma is, as well as like there are things that are not like out there, that are implicit, that I don't know, that I'm obviously praying about, right? Because I definitely don't want my kids to inherit certain things that are inherent to me, that I'm not aware of, that I may be aware of. So in me reaching out to other people to get help, I hope will be something eye-opening, so that my kids do not have to face the same fate. Like, they're gonna have so many other problems with everything that's going on right now. The least that's needed my interest. So I'm gonna be trying to actively take care of that. Like, even this quarantine period is a nice time to sort of like do some introspection and see what it is that you think you can change or has to change. So that's what I'll be doing.
Well,
I was gonna say I kind of got to practice with my little sister, because I was like mainly involved in her growing up. And then when she got her, like, I think I was away. I lived in Cincinnati when she got her period, and my mom never talked to me about my period and how to take care of myself and hygiene and stuff. Like, when I got my period, my mom was like, the pads are over there, and that's what.
Go get it.
Go get it.
Don't tell anybody about this.
And so now for me having that conversation, I never was given that structure from my mom with her. Like, I feel like I've never, and she doesn't come to me about like her period and stuff. Like, this week she was like, oh, my stomach hurt, I don't know what's happening. And I was like, okay, like, do you plan your period? Do you like, do you keep track? She's like, yeah, I used to, but it skips every day and it's not consistent every month. And I'm just like, that's what a period is. It's like, some months is going to be early, some months is going to be late, but you just got to know around what certain week that's coming. And I'm just like, wait, she's 12 and she didn't know this information. Oh my gosh, I'm failing as a sister. And it's like, I don't have that structure of how to talk to her about certain things like that because I wasn't given. So me going into parenthood, I have to start from the bottom. Yeah. I have to start from the bottom and kind of formulate and make my own structure of teaching my kids about sex, about periods, about boys, girls, private parts, and all of that, because I was never given that. And again, being comfortable to talk about that conversation. Like, how do I talk to my 12-year-old sister about sex? My parents never made me feel comfortable enough to talk about this, because again, that's that power dynamic that we talk about. So how do I break out of this, feeling uncomfortableness? And that's a part of trauma that we gotta push forward.
Anybody else?
I was gonna say, it's a combination. I wanna give, like I said, I wanna give my mom, my parents, credit where credit is due. Like, whereas we're talking about transgenerational trauma, there are definitely traumas that are like us, specifically like our moms, like the women, our African women, like that went through that they can't even speak of. Like, sometimes when I talk about my mom, she's just like, I've been through things in life. Like, she obviously is not open to talking with me about it, but she's just like, I've been through things in life. And you can tell that she's been through her own trauma. And then she was raising us like in the situation that she is, based on what she kind of taught herself to do and what she learned. And so I'm giving her credit for being able to give me the resources that she could based on the experiences that she went through. Another thing about trauma and like making sure it doesn't pass down is like, dealing with your trauma is a personal responsibility. I don't necessarily think that trauma goes away. I just think you find better coping mechanisms, better ways of handling it, different ways of channeling those emotions, those feelings, so that you're handling it in the best way possible. You're being an adult and you're also being emotionally mature about certain things. So I think handling your trauma is a personal responsibility that you have to take accountability of. And your kids are only going to be taught what you can teach them based on what you've learned to deal with.
Right.
So like, if you don't take that personal responsibility, you don't take it upon yourself to be accountable and deal with certain things and channel things the right way, of course you're gonna pass on certain things to your kids. You're gonna pass on certain bad habits. Like, some of our parents are really quick to anger. Like, you say one thing, they already shouting, and I'll be like, why are you shouting? Why? And is that the end? And then they expect us to be able to handle our emotions in terms of not being quick to anger. And I'm just like, your kids are a reflection of what you teach and what you're able to put up with. So like, me understanding that, being like, okay, I need to be a little better in terms of handling my emotions when I'm angry. Maybe take some time, like really separate myself and then deal with that, so that like when I have kids, them just being generally curious doesn't frustrate me, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's a two-way street. I give my parents credit for what they were able to pass on to me. I'm definitely trying to handle my stuff so that I can channel it in a healthy, more emotionally mature way. And like, my kids are definitely going to be messed up in their own way, but I hope that it's not something that I couldn't help. If that makes sense.
Yo, thank you so much for saying that. Like, our parents have had their own trauma to go through, because I think once I started talking with my mom so much, I think one time we kind of like got heated, and she was like, well, you can't be mad at me. That's all I knew. I knew because that's all I knew. So then I think that kind of hit me, and I was like, yo, it's not her fault. She didn't have like the wide, vast an array of knowing how to be receptive to the times where she was raising her child. And it's like, my mom is a single mom, but she grew up in a 2-parent household. So I think she never really know how to be a single mom and play 2 roles at the same time. Because I think all she knew, being raised was how to be a mother. But finding yourself being a single mom, now you have to be the father
But then kind of somehow you still have to be the mom. I think for her it may have been confusing. So I think when she's told me that, it kind of like it clicked. I think I just wanted to hear something. I was like, you know what? I can't be mad at her. She did the best that she could with what she knew how to. It is what it is, you know?
It is what it is.
Just take it as it is at this point. It's all over, Jackie.
Don't cry, don't beg.
All over.
Let me see what these. Does anybody have any more comments before I read the scenario and then we can end it off? Okay. So I read the scenario. I don't know if you guys saw it. So I saw this thing on Instagram, and I just want to get your opinion on it. All right, ready? So my girlfriend of 6 months has been out of work for the past 2 weeks, and she just got word that she would be laid off.
Start.
Start it again.
Start again. Okay.
Here from the top.
My girlfriend of 6 months has been out of work for the past 2 weeks, and she just got word that she will be laid off permanently. She asked me, could she move in with me? I told her that I'm not ready to share my home with anyone. She offered to pay half the bills. I declined. She then proceeded to ask, could I pay her rent for the next month? I told her that I'm comfortable doing things that a husband should do for my girlfriend. But I told her that she could borrow $300. She says that I'm wrong for not helping her out during the time of need, but that isn't my case in perspective. She says that she isn't sure that she'll continue dating me. What are we doing, ladies?
Getting the fuck ASAP. It's like,
no, seriously. I was like, man.
Obligated to pay her rent or help her out. However, if you're building towards something, if you're seeing your significant other or your partner struggle, I think you should be able to like help out.
Yeah.
Like, are you telling me that? I mean, $300 is great, but what is $300 going to do to her rent? Like, you know. But you need to. I don't think like he probably is not seeing like the long-term goal.
Yeah.
I could ask, why was he laid off?
Why
was he laid off?
What was she?
Oh, why was she laid off?
It just said she was laid off. So, okay, let's say like coronavirus.
Okay.
Coronavirus, y'all.
I feel like it's different. I feel like it's different depending on why you were laid off. Now, if you are doing some shady stuff at work and you got laid off, then I'll probably be checking you like, no. That you've been like, you know, running around, you know, like jumping from one to another. But then if it was like something outside of your control or, you know, I don't know, like they just decided they want to cut budgets or whatever, then I'll probably go and do that.
But girl, 6 months? 6 months is too long for you not to like have significant attachment or feelings to somebody, not to be able to help. Even a friendship. I'm like, and this is my thing about relationships. If at the foundation you don't have a friendship, you don't have anything. You don't. If at the foundation of any relationship, if you don't have a genuine friendship where you care and respect and love that person, like that relationship is nonsense. So like a friend, like in a scenario, if a friend, and let's in this case, let's assume they got laid off like coronavirus, like different businesses are laying off people because we're in a capitalist society. You know, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. You know, like somebody got laid off because it was cheaper for the company to lay that person off the league. And you're in a relationship with somebody for 6 months, and you can't help that person. I think at the foundation, you really don't care about that person. I'm sorry. And like, to be quite honest, it's not about the money. It's literally like, I'm helping this person. Forget the money. Because like, if that's somebody that's down later on when they're up or when you're down and you need help,
okay,
who gonna help you? Who gonna help you? So like, I think the money dollar signs are like, you know, the money sign dollar signs like aside, if like somebody's really in a bad situation, like based on situations beyond their control, I think if you really care about somebody, like just
and you see a future with this person,
you just help them out. Like, you know, you help them out. You definitely have to set boundaries. Like, oh, like I'm not ready for somebody to move in. So if you're crashing, maybe you're crashing for 3 months or something, or I'm helping you this, that, and third, so they can get on their feet. And like, but like, just being like, oh, $300, bye. Like, thank you for gas money.
And
right?
like,
Okay, basically.
yeah, and if she could move, like, it doesn't make sense. It would have been easier for him. Like, okay, if you're gonna crash here for 3 months, it's cheaper for you to have her in your household than paying rent for her in a different whole apartment, and you're paying 2.
I mean, maybe he's scared she might like move in, and not.
But
move
I'm like saying, set boundaries. Because even your friend, like there's some of our friends that are like, oh, you can crash at my place for 3 months and it's going on a year, and then you have to sit them down and be like, respect yourself and leave. Like, you set boundaries in every relationship. So if you're not willing to move in, like be like, yo, like, you can come and move for 3 months. I will actively help you find a different sort of way so you can have money, and then move out. If that person respects themselves, they move out. If they don't, then you have it within your right to be like, you gotta go.
Like, I think to feel the layers of that particular situation, like you said, if you're dating, then even if it's a friend that you met, like, yeah, help them out. But I also feel like from the lady's perspective, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, she has an expectation and she wants the help to come in this particular way. And that's kind of like, you can't tell people how to help you. Maybe the guy, because, you know, like, if the help can be like, yeah, you know, even the thought of just like, this person wants to help me and is willing to help me, that could go a long way. Maybe you could be like, maybe I'll help you find a roommate, or maybe I'll do this or that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Like a specific way to be like, this is, you know, you're not a good person because you won't let me move in, blah 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 blah. I just think that's kind of unfair.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with Seth because because 6 months, I feel like 6 months is kind of like a little period of time to know somebody. You know, like, it's kind of like a short period of time to know somebody. And if I say, hey, I need help, it's like, oh, I can offer you 300. I'll be like, okay, but you need to be able to like for me, if a friend says, hey, I'll be like, okay, I can't let you do this because of XYZ, but I can offer you 300. Send me your resume. I'll help you look for jobs. Let me get a connect. Like, I will go above and beyond for you. But
girl,
somebody
6 months, you done been cooking for this guy. What is the
business getting in his kitchen? Why is that in his kitchen?
Cooking for me.
Why is your business getting in his kitchen?
You done been taking care of this man for 6 hard months, and you telling me he can only give you $300?
Listen, so I would say, like,
then again, it's okay, so what if $300 is what he can only offer right now in his current situation?
I feel like the fact that he said you can borrow $300.
Oh, he said borrow?
Yeah, you can borrow $300, and I'm just like, you.
Good man.
Now, if it was home,
in the water.
Exactly.
In the
water. If off.
The disrespect.
If he got laid off and he told me this situation, he would expect for me to be on bending knees helping him get his life together. But because
I'm down on bending knees,
you can only borrow $300.
And like, okay, honestly speaking,
just to be clear for anyone who's about to come for us, I think that what we're saying generally is what we expecting for the guy to do, we would also give.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
Definitely, girl.
If the tables switch, and like say I have my own apartment, but I'm not comfortable with him, I'd be like, yo, I have this amount. I will let you have it because I love you. I will look at your resume. I have connection in what are you doing?
Whatever.
Above and beyond. I'll help you apply. Come over. Let's be on Indeed, snag a job, LinkedIn. Like, I will actively be there for you step by step.
And that's the thing. Like, if someone tells you they're getting laid off, right? Like, obviously you'd be like, what can I do for you?
Yeah,
Yeah, then I won't have to tell you like, oh, now I can't pay for my rent. No, you'd be like, babe, what's going on? So like, what are you gonna do? What bills have to be paid? Because that's
guys,
what I'd
also,
expect.
Full disclosure, let's not act like people haven't done sleepovers before. So this is not like the first time you moving into somebody's house.
That's true.
Dang, 6 months?
And I'm pretty sure if roles were reversed, a man should know, like, because one of the things about men is like, if they're not financially like good, like they feel like destabilized and everything. So they would expect like
their ego is a little low if they're not financially stable.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know, don't want to knock anybody down for it. Like, if that was genuinely what he could offer, then that's fine. But also, like, 6 months in a relationship, and the only thing a man can offer you is to borrow you $300. Like that, like, to me, because like I'm calculating all the damn. Like, I'm gonna get roasted. Like the gifts. I'm gonna get roasted. Put it on the table. The gifts you know bought for this man. The food you cook for this man. Like the investment you made, like, and when you make that investment because you genuinely love and want this person to be like safe and happy. Like at the end of the day, like if all of a sudden I'm in a position where I can't offer you those comforts anymore, I would think that like it not necessarily move into your house, but man, you would really be like fighting to make sure that I am comfortable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and even if you're not comfortable me moving your house, or like I can pay your ticket so you can go move to maybe a family member's house if I'm more comfortable.
Something.
And then still be actively helping, not just like, oh, borrow. Like then next month you're gonna be hitting me up with my $300 at, huh?
Gosh, shot me.
I feel like, yeah, I think. Nora, I feel like you're very, very focused on like that 6 months. For me, 6 months is a short time to.
Not for me. 6 months.
We have 12 months in the gap. 12 months, so 6.
6 months. Nah, girl. If you study with somebody for 6 months,
but I think I understand what Himba says, because you have to be doing it intentionally and generally from your heart, not from like, oh, I have to.
Yeah, like I have to. Like,
what I mean? Like completely
fair. I just think, you know, 6 months is an investment with somebody. Like it's an investment.
Somebody said, how much can you offer him in 6 months?
Blessing said, I generally think you ladies are missing the point. What point are we missing?
Well, yeah, tell us what point.
What point are we missing? We've hit all the points.
Let us know. Are we blind to
Are we blind?
Subject right now? Let me know.
Are we blind? But like, because to be honest, this goes back to the conversation of like within the third date, you know whether you want to continue interacting with somebody. If you're interacting with somebody for half of a year, like, you know, I'm not saying, oh, ring marriage, because those of y'all know me, I don't really mess with marriage. But like 6 months is a substantial amount of time that somebody's invested time, effort, everything. Like, you know, like it's, you know, it doesn't mean like, oh, like give me a $200 house, but like if you can only borrow me, bro, that hurts. I'm sorry, that hurts. That really hurts me. I'm like, damn. He was just like, bye.
That's all he has to offer at that time.
I mean, okay, that's fair. If his finances are all he has to offer the time, but the way he said, "Bar, you can borrow," like, bro,
the way he put it,
bro, what the hell?
Oh man,
I'm like, damn.
Well, I just wanted to get you guys' opinion.
Belle said a presidential woman would take that 300 and bring back 27. This isn't Gucci Mane and Keisha Cole, okay? This isn't Gucci Mane and Keisha Cole, because also there was cheating and kids involved, so that's not what's gonna happen. Go sit down somewhere.
Wait, he said that you take that 300.
He said a presidential, because you know what I said, a presidential woman. He said you can take that 300 and bring back 27,000. I said, sorry, this is not no Keisha Cole and Gucci Mane. First of all, we're not holding down nobody in jail. We're not holding anybody who's cheating. So that's dead. Keep it moving.
They're trying to. I think it's the context too. Like you're trying to apply that to in a different situation. This is a person who actually just lost their job. It's not like somebody's coming to them with a proposal.
Or just like yeah. And even with the proposal, like when you're
investing questions.
Thank you. Ask appropriate questions.
Please ask appropriate question, Belle. Have you heard?
All right. Well, I just wanted to get you guys' opinion on that. That was my last comment. Does anybody have anything else to say? This was such a dope conversation. Like you guys are so dope, and I like learned so many like perspectives and views and stuff like that. Like this was, I think we personally had the latest.
The best. Period. That's on period.
I enjoyed the different perspectives. That was very enriching. So, and you girls are so dope. So nice.
Y'all are dope.
No. Follow me on the social media, on the Instagram.
Carissa, you have a question? What's your question?
Lord.
What's his question? Ask your question before we get off.
Well, he used to go borrow the 300 from somebody else. Is that your question?
No.
There's bags about this 300, bro. Yo, money be doing something to a man.
Somebody said if your man of 6 months got locked up and needs bail, you ready for that?
What he getting locked up for?
Hold
No, guys, y'all gotta keep the same energy.
You better be get locked up for
Context.
protesting.
Context. Locked in jail and losing a job. Are you people having sense? Somebody that's going to jail and somebody that lost their job. That's not correlating in any way. How is jail and loss of job the same thing? Uncle, please go and sleep. It's okay. You've done enough.
They say go take a nap, ST.
Go take a nap. Go take a
Y'all
nap.
said, does it matter?
Yes.
It does.
Girl, they're not asking enriching questions.
What is he getting locked
No, but
up
honestly, if
for?
that's my man, context or whatever, I'd still be trying to get him out.
Girl,
Girl,
Your man-
no.
I'm sorry.
I need to know why he's in
in
Was
jail.
he trying to kill me? Was he trying to poison me? What were you trying to do?
Was it robbery?
No.
I would definitely bail you out if you were like protested in the street against
Yes.
like.
Yeah,
Different context.
I would bail you out. Hell yeah.
Context, like
Or like mass
positive.
incarceration.
But
But if it's like you're trying to rob a store, if you're attempted murder,
Scamming. If you're scamming,
Listen, if you're
they're not ready for this conversation.
you're transporting drugs or whatever, you're doing scamming business.
You're doing 419.
to jail.
Because listen, they're not gonna come for me next. You ain't about to say my taxes.
Period.
Not happening. So that's that. But no.
They carry your 2 feet and tell you to go and scam. No.
Go and get a job.
Hello,
One
y'all.
man's meat is another man's poison.
Girl, he talking about that $300, girl.
No, boys. I mean, men are
That's
so
accurate, That's
Oh,
accurate
nice.
in the fact that I'd be
Finance.
like, bye, dude. Like, I don't think you are for me. I'm gonna find myself another one who's gonna help me. Okay?
Okay, period.
men be vexed when it comes to finances and money. Like,
But it's
$200. That's too much.
I see. I don't have money. I don't have money. But you, let me not even talk. They will roast me here or two. But when it comes time to something, that's how they'll now all of a sudden be rich. But that's
when it comes to buying you shoes, man.
You buy FIFA.
Yeah,
Buy a 2K20. We find Call of Duty. We have money. All that stuff.
I see. His friend is doing some new business venture. He has money. Tell him to pay for your nails. I don't pay for women's nails. Okay, that's fine.
Don't worry. Out there that don't get turned up.
He said vexed because y'all feel entitled to it. Entitled to what?
What? Oh, no. Who said that?
Josh.
Josh. Let me set you straight. Joshua, let me set you straight. Any woman that's worth her guts is not gonna ask somebody else for something that they themselves will not be willing to give. So in all of these scenarios, kiki ha ha ha. I'm like, the reason I'm saying it out of my perspective, or like that's me personally, I'm speaking for myself personally, is because I know what I would do for another person in that situation. And when I say friendship, I've had friendships. I have friendships where at the least bit they were like, yo, I get something. So when I'm saying it, I'm speaking from a person who's like, this is not we're sucking somebody dry. This is not a pray, nothing. This is if you genuinely can reciprocate that behavior, then of course you're expecting that behavior from another human being that's connected to you. So be gone with that nonsense. Entitlement.
You said you choose to ignore the fact that he tried to help, but you're stuck on the fact that he doesn't want her to move in.
I wasn't stuck on anything.
I think we already addressed. No, we already addressed that. I pretty much said that, you know, like her wanting the help to come in a particular way, that would kind of be iffy. If the guy has the genuine mind to think, I need to help her. And then be like, okay, maybe I'm not ready for you to move in, but I could probably, like, you know, hook you up with a roommate. We could find you a room, like, rent for that amount of, and you know, and like help you find another job. I mean, we're not saying that the help has to come like that. We already debunked that, so I don't know why you are putting that.
And like, to be honest, like we literally, like, you know, said every scenario possible too. Like, we said, if you want to help move into a family member's place, if it's a temporary where like you're crashing in his place for a week and then you move to somewhere else, like there are multiple situations there. Like I said, like there's no sense of entitlement. It's just like, what can you do to help? Like, what is genuinely helping somebody look like?
Yeah, me as personally, I feel like anybody was in that situation, whether it be my man or my best friend or whatever it is, if you genuinely wholeheartedly come to me and you need help, I'm just the type of person, I'm a very caring person, and I take my friendship relationship very, very seriously. So when I give my all. So if it's my last, I will give it to you. So if you're asking me, you need $300, I'm not going to say, here's this $300. Make sure you run it. You cash out me back next week. Like, no, I'm going to give you the $300. Get yourself together, and that's that. That's how I personally feel. I'm not saying, oh, you need to run me my money back. If you do because you want to, hey, cool. But it's not necessary. It's not like, oh, by force, oh, you need to give me my money back. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I feel.
Bless said, Nora, you're contradicting yourself. No, I don't think Nora's contradicting.
I am Blessing. You need to go back, boo. Your ears, they're not hearing. Go back and clean them and come back and tell me what you heard.
Not contradicting herself. And Josh says, nah, but you missed the part where I asked what happened when his expectations are different from yours. Do you impose? No, you don't.
We didn't say anything about an imposition. How we didn't say anything about an imposition.
So how would they like? How would they like if their girl was the one who had the job and they lost their job? How would they want the girl to
be treated?
It's basically a treat somebody else how you want to be treated type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, treat somebody how you want to be treated, period.
Everybody here, yeah, you should be happy with that 300. It's not even about that.
But I also think, like, it comes to the point where, okay, 300, what does 300 mean to that person at that time? You know what I mean? Other like living out in California and giving them $300, like literally maybe that's just gas money, or
that's why I said gas money. You know what I mean?
And then I think it also depends on the kind of a man that you are and what you have at the time. It would hit me kind of different. Like if I know you have the capability, but you're coming in and telling me you're gonna borrow 300, or maybe you probably, I mean, even the borrow kind of like sounds, even if you really, really don't have it. You know what I mean? But if you have it, like, yo, it stings deep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It kind of. I'm not saying that I'm expecting it. I mean,
right.
But if you give me the money, maybe you could help me apply for like unemployment.
Come over, let's update your LinkedIn. Let's get this. I want you to thrive because I love you. I'm gonna motivate you to get this because I want you to thrive because I love you. It's all out from love.
And I don't think maybe like, especially somebody who's, let's assume that the woman is hardworking and she got her own stuff going on. I don't think she's like delighting, you know, in the space of, I lost my job, so now you're gonna give me this.
Give me, yeah.
She's in that mind space.
Yeah.
So some slack in the comments.
Ladies.
Josh, what's your question?
Josh, please, you need to make it, write the vision and make it plain, please.
Okay, well, Josh, you got 10 seconds.
10 seconds, boo.
10 seconds and it's a wrap.
9, 8,
7.
Well, I guess, okay. Well, anyway.
Someone said it wasn't a question, it was a statement that he made. But I guess it's a question, so whoever said that was wrong.
He has another statement?
Did the scenario just mention the money and not the other things he's doing? Did he just offer the 300 and sit quietly? Oh, you people are not listening, eh? The scenario stated, it said, my girlfriend of 6 months has been out of work for the past 2 weeks, and she just got word that she'll be laid off permanently. She asked, could she move in with me? I told her that I'm not ready to share my home with anyone. She offered to pay half the bills. She offered to pay half of the bills. I declined. Remember, he declined. So then she then proceeded to ask me, could I pay her rent for the next month? I told her that I'm uncomfortable doing things that a husband should do for my girlfriend. But I told her that she could borrow $300. She says that I'm wrong for not helping her out during her time of need, but that isn't the case in my perspective. She said that she isn't sure she will continue dating me. That's exactly what it said. Remember, ladies, she also said that she will help pay bills. We're just throwing that out there, too.
The bills, yeah. Contribute.
To each his own. I think she actually kind of felt like she didn't get cared. She wasn't cared for.
Yeah.
I can't blame her for feeling like that. She was.
I said I have written 3 times now. I don't know what. I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know.
I looked through to kind of see what he was
seeing from your phone.
You might have. I believe lending you money and you pay back, but think otherwise. Someone shouldn't be speaking for sure. Oh, okay. Well, Josh, I don't know what your question is, but
I know his question is. His question was, but you missed the point of the part where I asked what happens when his expectations are different from yours. Do you impose yours on him? I think we're
what expectations?
Right. So wait, I'm confused because if you are dating somebody and you're with somebody, obviously you guys lay your intentions from the jump. So right. If it's like, okay, some people lay their intentions, some people don't. But I'm assuming they should. But I'm assuming if you're 6 months in, I'm pretty sure that you guys have probably already have a foundation or a layout of how you want your relationship to go.
Oh, now, that's why I said that's 6 months.
It might not always be like that, but I'm pretty sure if you are on month 6 of this relationship, you have another 6 months to go.
Yeah.
Don't you think that you would already kind of know where you're trying to head with this person? Because if you know that you don't want to be with this person, why continue until month 6? Why? I don't understand.
It's quiet for them, B. It's quiet.
Ran out of wine.
I ran out of water.
Oh, you ran out of wine?
The glass, I was like, it's not there anymore.
That's the cue. Well, ladies, this was a great panel. Thanks for doing this. It was dope.
Nice to meet y'all.
Nice to meet all of y'all.
You guys want to, you guys can put your social media handles and stuff like that, or you guys can say it. So
I think AK ended when the boy spoke with some questions that I really enjoyed. He asked what skills have you learned since you've been quarantined or wherever, and how, and what else did he ask? And what different things are you doing with your time?
Who going first?
As far as skills, currently taking a Java coding class.
I can't hear you, Joe.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Just speak louder.
Okay. As far as skills, developing skills, I'm currently taking a Java coding class. So that, and also this time has allowed me to just reflect more, because when we're always on the go and everything, you don't take time to actually self-analyze and see like what has gone on the first couple months of the year. And also it's allowed me more time to just be able to read and journal as well.
Okay. Well, I'll next then. So this quarantine, God, yo, like I didn't know that it was gonna be like this. Like that person that I am, I'm a very outgoing person, so I like to be out and stuff like that. So being in the house is like, dang, this is a drag, and it's just like, this is literally what people be going through when they be going through stuff in situations. It's like, dang, they really be in the house. But other than that, I've literally just started practicing how to edit and stuff like that, because I'm really trying to get this YouTube stuff on the roll, y'all. We gonna be famous out here, y'all.
Period.
So I'm just trying to do that. And this quarantine has also kind of motivated me, because all the side hustles that I wanted to do, I have time to do it now, because I was always making an excuse for myself that, I don't have time, or I don't have this and that. So now that I have all this time, I'm getting shit done. So that's the plus on this quarantine and chill.
This quarantine has taught me that life is a lot bigger than myself.
Oh, yeah.
Like like I said, like there's something to be said about, like, you know, some of the things we had in place that like helped discipline us in life in terms of what we were doing. We woke up, we were doing this, we went to sleep, we were doing this, and like now that everything is kind of like unpredictable, there's no like regime. It's literally like kind of made me, and I think a lot of people like get out of themselves, like it's not about you. Like I know you have plans in the future, I know this and the third, but like there's some things that are a lot bigger than just us as individuals. What have I learned? I don't know. I've learned how to like listen to different like people, like actually sit down and listen like to different people, like different experiences. Like I've gotten really close to somebody from a completely different culture that I never thought I would, and it was just about listening to their experience. Like there's some shared commonality, like there's some commonalities in both of our experiences, but like just listening to her perspective, I'm like, wow, like I learned a lot from just listening to her life and the differences. Yeah.
Well, I just started my spring semester. Everything's remote right now, so I'm doing that. It's supposed to be taking up most of my time, and I'm doing my internship as well, remote.
Ooh, congrats.
Gosh.
So, yeah, it's like such a weird time, and like online stuff is not something that I like doing. So it's gonna be a skill, right? To be able to like be disciplined and work online and collaborate with people online. So that's one thing. And then my brother is making me improve my culinary skills. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Come on, man. What school do you go to if you don't mind me asking?
Dartmouth College.
Ooh, girl. Ivy League. Is that right? Ooh. Period. What are you doing?
And we stand.
Yes, we stand.
Wow, sis, you better.
Your PhD or is it another master's?
Pardon?
Are you getting your PhD or is it another master's?
No, just a master's. I only did my undergrad.
Hey!
God, I see what you're doing for others.
God, I see.
I told
Let's touch you for
You
this.
shower your blessings. That's the blessing about.
Thank you.
Come on, because I said hell to the no.
No.
She says, not my portion.
Hey.
Not my destiny.
Everybody.
If I'm still gonna go to grad school, I need those blessings to come my way. Blessings
Literally.
on my life.
Shower your blessings.
So what's the question again?
Girl.
The question
I celebrated you. I forgot the questions.
The question was, what skills have you acquired during this time of being quarantined? And what have you learned about yourself or learned about other people?
Other people?
Yeah, if you
Yourself,
want.
other people.
Yourself, other people, things around you.
I
that
can
you
talk about
notice.
the skill I have learned during this
Let's hear it.
thing.
Let's hear it.
My dear, I should have a publishing deal by the time I'm
Oh, Emma!
we're looking for amount of writing I have written.
That publishing deal. Have you guys heard?
Anyway, no, I'm not writing my book. It's just the assignments that the readers write. Oh, the amount of writing that I have written, I don't think I have ever written in my 2.5 years of being in college physically that I've done mine. I really have written. I'm still writing. I'm not done.
She wrote,
That's the skill I have learned. Matter of fact, not learned. That's the skill I have mastered.
Mastered. Oh, amen. Hallelujah.
Thank God. So, what is the other part? Hey, no.
What have you learned about yourself?
What have I learned about myself?
That shit got right.
I've learned.
Right, well.
I've learned to be very flexible because that shift, it just requires the grace of God to keep your sanity and keep going.
Amen. Sis.
Grace of God.
Jehovah Naira. That's all. Oh my God. Joe, did you go?
I did.
Did everyone?
How long did you go?
Oh, I didn't go. You went?
Yeah, everybody. I think everybody went. Nora, you went?
Dang.
Yeah, everybody won. Yeah.
What am I doing to keeping myself busy? I've been watching a lot of documentaries. I love watching a lot of documentaries. I've been doing some little at-home exercise. You know, I'm trying to get my little
Summer body look
for
2021.
body.
Gang.
Y'all playing? My summer ain't canceled. Summer 20 is still going off.
Girl, you gonna have to take those. Like Seth said,
Take a rain check.
huh?
I'm gonna take a rain check for summer 2020.
Which
That's why I'm prepping for summer 2021.
period?
If I gotta be in my backyard sunbathing and all that, we gonna do
By force.
Fight for it.
When I drive out to Philly, you can come to my backyard. Switch to the backyards.
I got my
I'm taking 2 online courses, so that's been. I don't like online courses. That's been a challenge for me, but I'm pushing through it. I'm getting through it, and these 2 courses are definitely gonna advance me in my career, and push me in the type of leader in healthcare that I want to become. So I'm very, very excited about that.
I stand.
We stand. Thank you. We stand.
Next step, that master degree.
Next step. Oops.
All right, ladies. So this was very fun. Thank you guys. Hopefully we can do this again for another couch talk, but except we'll be all together or something.
Together, you know, not social distancing.
After Koro is over.
It's over.
I'm over Rona.